Sorry it's been so long since the last video, I've been very busy, but let's continue with the Dreamcast era. Before I continue, I'd like to take a quick look at the VMU, which is the memory card for the Dreamcast. It worked as a small standalone gaming system, and the screen on it could be used to display status during the game. It was very nice, and I kinda wish consoles still used them. Oh well, on to the review. Okay, next in the Dreamcast era, Sonic Shuffle, the party game. Let's discuss the party game genre just a little bit. A party game is almost like a video board game, wherein up to 4 players, usually casual gamers, advance along a basic map to collect collectibles and play mini games in order to advance to the finish line or accomplish a certain goal before their opponents do. It's a relatively simple game type that's very popular, especially in this current generation. Of course, Sonic Shuffle had something that many other party games, especially at the time, didn't have, and that's a plot, where they're pulled into an alternate reality, which is the land of dreams called Imaginary World, where the world is at turmoil because a nightmare entity named Void has shattered a magical gem called the Precious Stone. This Precious Stone was the source of power for Imaginary World, and when the goddess Illumina lost her power, Void was able to shatter the stone, and it's up to our heroes to reunite them. They're sort of like Chaos Emeralds in a way. Now they're summoned to this world by a little pink fairy named Lumina Flowlight, who resembles Cosmo from the Sonic X anime. Anyway, it's a party game. It's very simple. That's pretty much its gimmick. But I bored you enough with the plot. Let's actually get down to gameplay. Now, since it's a party game, most of your time is going to be spent playing these little 4-player mini games, which is where pretty much where all the fun of the game is. So, as you can see, you're given a little situation, and then you and 3 other players have to compete. In this case, it's a simple game of darts. There are lots of other games. This specific one is just to decide play order. As you can see, once everybody has their go, the winners are decided. It's as simple as that. Alright, now let's go on to the board, which is much bigger. Okay, so basically, Lumina Flowlight flies in there and proceeds to tell you about the map. You know, its various layout and the obstacles you have to face on it, and then she'll show you the location of the Precious Stone. Just like this. She just basically hovers over the spot. I decided to skip that because it's time consuming. Alright, so the characters move by utilizing the cards. It's like a standard deck of cards. They numbered from 1 to 6, plus there's an Eggman card, which is a trap. So you pick the number and you move that number of spaces. And depending on where you land, you gain rings, you lose rings, or you trigger events and minigames. So I showed you the map, I showed you a minigame. Now I'm going to show you what a battle looks like. All you do is pick a card, and you gotta run over to a monster space. A monster space is one of those pink things with the eyes on it. Just like this one. Okay, now let's go and initiate a battle. Let's show you guys what they look like. Okay, so the battle is again fought with the same deck of cards. You can also use Force Gems, which give you special powers. And the card spins, and you try to make it land on a number that's at least as high as your monster's number. And if you match or beat it, then you win. And you get a Force Gem, and you get a ring reward. That's basically it. Alright, enough party games. Everybody knows that the ultimate Dreamcast game to feature Sonic was Sonic Adventure 2. And we all know the gimmick for Sonic Adventure 2 was it was the first one where you could play as the bad guys. You could play as Shadow, Dr. Robotnik, and Rouge. Now this game, it took the 3 game aspects from the first Sonic Adventure that people responded most positively to. Of course, we have the high-speed Sonic stages, now with Shadow. And if you look carefully, you can see an advertisement for soap shoes. That's what gives them the power to grind. And these product placement ads are probably put in there because Sega was hurting for money because people weren't buying games since they could just burn them onto gigabyte discs. And of course, Knuckles' Emerald hunts make a return, except this time, instead of a vague blinking light telling you where to look, you still have the blinking lights, as on the bottom, but you also have these little TVs that work as hint screens. You just walk up to a TV and push the B button, and it'll give you a vague hint as to where the next emerald shard is. And there's 3 clues for each shard, and each one is more specific. You see, there we go, a suspended ceiling. What does that mean? Oh well, let's look at Rouge. Rouge the Bat, the dark version of Knuckles. I already showed you basically all this aspect of the game, so I'm just going to spend a few seconds tormenting Amachow. Yeah, take that, Amachow. Rah, rah, rah. Yeah. This little guy is so annoying. All he does is give you obvious tips. Ah, die, Amachow. Okay, and then E102 Gamma's shooting aspect returns, except this time Dr. Eggman and Tails do it in their awesome mechs. You simply acquire a target and shoot them down. It's a simple shooter, but you know what? I liked it. You know, it had a nice little variety. You know, everybody still likes the Sonic stages best, so do I, but you know what? I bet if it weren't for these, you might just have gotten sick of them. And of course, there's the Chow Garden, your little 3D Gigapets. I chose Dr. Robotnik to come in here because it's the only time you see him and Tails, incidentally, outside of their mechs. So, you know, you basically walk around, you pet them, you feed them, you raise them. They're Gigapets, but they're 3D. So, yeah, playing as the good guys and the bad guys. Picking up Chow as Dr. Robotnik. Now, the most underappreciated aspect of Sonic Adventure 2 is the kart race. As you can see, you have 6 different characters, and then they have alternate characters for a total of 12, and every vehicle has their own separate status. You know, they all have different speed, acceleration, brake, and, you know, all that stuff. So it's actually pretty sophisticated. Now, the car I chose is actually a nice little nostalgia factor here. It's an Egg Robo, one of the badniks from Sonic and Knuckles. How about that? You can actually race as an Egg Robo. That's just so cool. Now, yes, there are only really 2 tracks available, the Standard and the Expert. But, you know, with the variety of the car's performances, it could actually be pretty competitive. You know, it's a little bit more sophisticated than Mario Kart. Alright, in case you didn't notice, I was playing the GameCube version of Sonic Adventure 2 the whole time, mostly so I could show off the expanded 2-player mode. As you can see, you have many more playable characters than the Dreamcast version had, including available right off the bat, Amy and Metal Sonic. And in Sonic Adventure 2 you could unlock them, but there they were just basically different skins for the same character. Here, the characters actually have their own little abilities. Plus, you have more courses and modes of play to do. Now, I'm not really going to go too specific into the 2-player mode, since it's just a rehash of the 1-player mode that you do competitively, but, you know, it has to bear a mention. I mean, come on. You can actually play as Metal Sonic right off the bat. Right away, that has to be a huge plus. But, oh look, see? Soap Blimp. Damn you, product placement! And that's my review of the Dreamcast era. Stay tuned, because my next video will cover the last console generation, mostly games released for GameCube.